Hello everyone, I welcome all of you back. Okay, so already a quick recap I will do. In the previous video, I have talked about your anatomy and physiology. I hope it's clear. But still, if you have any question, any doubt, you know, you can ask me. In the comment section, you can ask any question regarding that. Okay. And now today I'm going to take up phagocytosis. Okay, so let's see what is phagocytosis. Phago, phago means to eat. When the cell is doing the cytosis is the cell. When the cell is doing the function of eating, we call it as what? Phagocytosis. Okay, so I have talked about your cells, like in your blood. Okay, I will take one video to tell you about the type of blood cells, their roles and all, before active immunity or after dealing with active immunity little bit. So let's see how we proceed. So blood, if you look at, basically there are cells in your blood. You know that your granulocytes like neutrophil, okay, and which is phagocytic in nature, and your monocytes, agranulocytes. Okay, they are what? Both are phagocytic. Okay, now these monocytes, they migrate, they come out of your blood and in your tissue spaces, and there they migrate to tissue, no? Various tissues, and they become what? They migrate and become macrophages. And monocytes, they are the biggest blood cell, and they are what? Their kidney shaped nucleus they have. Okay, now these macrophages, when move out, they become amoeboid. Okay, so they change a bit of shape, and therefore, and in the tissue, they migrate to tissues. Okay, and we call them as what? We call them as macrophages, isn't it? So these are the basic three cells in your blood, which are basically what? Phagocytic in nature. Now how do these macrophages, they eat your bacteria and all? So today I'm going to talk about that only. Okay, so let's take, there are few bacteria around. Okay, so these are bacterial cells which are making for you. And how do your macrophage come to know that there is a bacteria around? So these bacterial cells, they release a chemical, okay, which attracts. What it does? It attracts what kind of cells? Your macrophages. So they release certain kind of chemicals, which is attracting this macrophage towards it. Okay, and now what this macrophage will do? Uh, Now suppose these are the bacteria. Okay, now what your macrophage is going to do is trying to move towards it and trying to form their pseudopodia. They are trying to engulf that bacteria, no, into it. And the next, if I make it, then somewhere what they will do, okay, this side I will make so that it becomes clear. So they have now the two membranes. These two membranes will fuse with it. Okay. So as you know, the membrane is what? Now lipid like molecule, isn't it? So it's made up of lipids. So it's fluid in nature, and therefore what will happen? They will take this bacteria inside that membrane. So they will form a membrane around that, and they will try to engulf that bacteria into it. Okay, so like this, it will come inside the your bacteria, this macrophage. Okay, so this will get inside, and now we call it as what? We will call it as phagosome. This is called as what? Phagosome. So bacteria is now in the membrane inside the cell of your what? Macrophage. Now you know that these cells, macrophage has got, now let me take some other color, has got it has got various vesicles, which we call as what? Which we call as lysosomes. Okay, so they have got vesicles which we call as lysosomes. So these lysosomes will fuse with the membrane of your phagosome, and they will form what? So suppose I'm making another one. Suppose this is the vesicle which is having bacteria in it. Okay, so suppose it has taken up bacteria. Suppose this is the bacteria inside that phagosome, and this is your macrophage. Suppose this is your macrophage. Okay, and now lysosomes I will fuse with it. So when the lysosomes membrane fuses with it, so you can see these are the lysosomes. You know that the lysosome has got enzyme, lysozyme, and it will, the membrane will fuse and will now pour its lysozyme inside that phagosome. And what these enzymes will do, they will digest the bacteria, and they will take out the nutrients and will provide the, they are basically food for your macrophage, and they will provide the nutrients and the undigested food. What it will be done, it will be thrown out of your macrophage. So this is your macrophage. What it will do, it the undigested product, it will try to move out of the cell. Okay, so undigested part will be thrown out of the cell, and the rest will be taken by the cell. This is how, what they do, they cause what? Phagocytosis. Okay, now what do we call this structure as? We call it as what? Union of your phagosome and your lysosomes. We call it as what? We call it phagolysosome. Okay, and what happens here, you can see, after now digesting it, it throws out the undigested product out of the cell via exocytosis. Okay, so this is how basically it does the phagocytosis. Now